Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. As people join, I'll shift over to the questions. But like always, I know this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. And wanted to just fit this live stream in. It's been challenging to find time to do live streams, but I was able to get this one in. I know it's been a while. The market is in a top-in pattern here that I believe will continue to play out until some very big event, some very important news, or something catastrophic. You can even say is going to happen to cause this reversal. And you could use your imagination. What could cause that? I mean, we've seen these expanded flat patterns in the indices throughout its trade-in history. We've seen that here coming off the '09 lows. This was a really tricky time to trade, where you had the high and then you came down and broke the low here. You actually made a higher high here. Then only to make another high and then have another crash in 5 waves and kind of a run-in flat. So we see this like break the high, crash. We haven't broke the all-time high yet. So even if we do, we more than likely will see the indices circle back in a very dramatic fashion. And of course, this is the most dramatic flat that we've seen in our trade in maybe lifetime for people right now. Is this very similar to what we're in now. We had initial downturn on orthodox bottom, and then we came off the '09 lows. We even broke the high, and then a super crash. I believe this is something we're going to see going into 24. This was the financial crisis, but really it was mortgage-backed securities where all of a sudden worthless banks that had those on their books had the mark-to-market losses, and one thing led to the other. Banks were insolvent, and then a recession hit, and then GM needed a bailout, and some other big companies, and AIG, and then TARP needed to pass. But this time I don't think there will be no TARP to save everything. There isn't going to be any of that. It'll be the Fed will have to save the market, and I eventually think they will. But when this happens, there'll be some other crisis, more than likely financial in nature, related to the high interest rates that are probably going to go even higher, and perhaps that's what will drive this, the final nail in the coffin of the market. But right now, we're somewhere in this type of situation, and so we could still trade. But I wouldn't get too attached to your long positions from an investment standpoint until this pullback plays out on the weekly time frame, maybe even the monthly time frame, which is this pattern. There's always possibilities for C. C could break the low, of course, which I think it will. There is also run-in flat where it won't break the low, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But this looks like the pattern we're setting ourselves up for, and we're now in this kind of final 5th wave. And as you can see here in this first wave, you had a lot of you had several really obvious swings you could see on the daily chart. Here you could see you have this one and that one. Here you don't really have that, so you have to be careful for the extension higher into early 24. And I know people love to trade like it's an election year, the markets can't go down. Well, maybe that's the reason they go down. Maybe there's a constitutional crisis in the middle toward the election time, and that causes this. I'm just giving you some ideas. So what I'm saying is this could be a 2-wave we're about to go into, and then we may actually see a springboard up for a massive, great, long opportunity for the final, like, hurrah. So depending on the structure of this too and where the stochastics reset, if we see some hidden bearish divergences in the 4-hour stochastic on this pullback, which should happen at any moment, probably next week, I'm thinking, then that could be a trade for a viable dip into this 3 against this kind of left shoulder head, right shoulder pattern to finish off the impulse. So this could be some really easy money. A lot of dumb money will go into the market that missed this move. They'll want to buy this and FOMO back, and because they missed it. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to see play out, and then we'll be set with, like I said, a crisis in nature similar to what we had in 2008. It'd have to be on that kind of magnitude and degree to get the sell-off we saw here, or like the COVID crisis. We're going to need something. It can't be just, oh, inflation's a little hot. It's got to be some like massive crisis that, something like, oh my God, the Bank of America is insolvent, or Wells Fargo's going belly up, and these are hypotheticals, right? Or something like crazy, like unthinkable will have to happen to get this B, or rates just skyrocket for no reason. Maybe there's a constitutional crisis, and then everybody's panicking, and our long end goes up to 6, 7, 8%, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. So I don't know what is going to cause this, but whatever it is, it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be pretty freaking bad. That's all I'm saying. And so 24 is going to, the first part, maybe Q2, Q3 is going to be pretty ugly, I think, in the stock market next year. Q1 though may be supported as we come into the end of December with this little burst. Maybe January and February won't be too bad financially. To get this to finish this off. The other alternative is two's already done here. And then we get wave 3 next week. The Fed caves, and we get a massive rally next week. So this is also a possibility too. And I think a lot of traders are playing for that this week. There was significant dip buy-in, but I would worry. I think that's not a good idea given the divergence here. I do believe a bigger pullback is warranted, even if we get another swing higher like this. So that's my take on the market right now. I'll go to your questions and we can answer them. So just go in your order. AEHR. Yeah, let's take a look at AEHR. That's one we've been following for quite a while on our live stream, and we pretty much have nailed that one really well. Let's take a look. We called this flat. We called the pullback, and so this is a flat pattern, and we need an impulse down. So you want to see divergence at the low. Now see here, you don't really have that divergence, but the daily would be more important. Here it looks like you don't have it here either. So you don't really have it at that point. So maybe looking at the structure, perhaps you could look at it as a 3-wave move. And then this is in 3. And so maybe it wasn't a flat. It's more like a WXY. And then you can call the low in on this stock or a pivot. So this looks like a massive pivot that's been set at 2120. So I do believe the new cycle higher has started in this stock now. And it should be traded into either a connector for more lows or new highs. But right now, if you look at this wave, this looks only like in 3 waves. So I would still be careful you're not in a connector wave and you get trapped in another connector. But I do think it looks like the direction's higher, and why? And then it's unknown if this will turn into a connector and then fail, or turn into an impulse. And we just don't know. So I think this is it. So I do think it's going higher. Yeah, natural gas is caught up with the oil market, man. It's getting destroyed with oil. And the thing is, oil should be bouncing. So that means oil has a tradable bounce coming up if you can time it right. But I think you got to just trade it, because I still have oil head into 56. It does look like the first wave that is done, this impulse, and this could be of the first W, or and so I'll just label it right now as a 1. But we're in this 2 wave. It could do this, but I thinking, looking at how this structure played out, more than likely it's in I'll probably have a bigger bounce here. Maybe hit, these areas and then come down and then have a much bigger bounce and then the final move lower. Something like this is what I'm thinking we're going to see with oil. So that means Boyle will trade like this. So the trend is lower. So you may not want to look at Boyle until oil is down in this area for like a longer hold. But I do think it's got this B bounce in B coming. There's also a possibility it could still be an X, and that would allow Boyle to really pump. So there is a high reward scenario here for something like this setup here. The oil can come back up to 82. If that happens, that will be inflationary, and that would actually make sense with a wave 2 in this index coming, this wave 2 coming, with the dollar and interest rates going higher. Could be an inflationary wave hidden. So just so now that we know where oil is maybe going, Boyle is got a lot more risk. Now using my system, we have this extension here. This looks like just a 4 wave, and now we're in a 5th wave down. The other possibility is it's in 3 waves here. So that's the other option. And if that's the case, it should be done at any moment, and we can rip all the way back up to 77, and that would probably be crude ripping up to 82, and natural gas ripping up to probably back up to this 4.4. So it's a high risk, high reward trade, but it is in an area where there is a tradable bounce. I just can't tell you the magnitude. The magnitude could be small if it's just a 2 wave. If it's just this 2 wave, it's going to be a smaller bounce. But if it's a much bigger bounce to 82, then more than likely nat gas here is going to run up, and then Boyle could see a much bigger pump out of this, structure. But it's due for a bounce. It's due for a bounce here, and if it is an impulse down, just to kind of be aware, we'll get a 4 and a 5. So whether it's a 3 or a 4, we're going to get this bounce here, and if the bounce comes and fails, just know it's a 5, and then we'll get a bigger. So you're going to have to kind of trade it, but if it's a 3 wave move, it could be finished at any moment. So that's Boyle. Yeah, everyone likes Robinhood all of a sudden, and because of crypto. But we have to, again, remember where the Russell's going. Why is Robinhood going up, guys? The Robinhood's going up because the Russell's bouncing. It has nothing to do with crypto. It's all about the Russell index, and we've traded Robinhood on the long side and made a lot of money on it on some of those calls because of the Russell. And when the Russell flipped, we got out of Robinhood. So now the Russell is surging, so Robinhood's a good trade again. So the Russell index. So let's take a look at what we have here. We're in a connector wave. The Russell's got a lights out move coming, like down. That will wipe out Robinhood when that happens. So for right now, though, it's in a connector wave. This needs to pull back in 3. So I'd be looking for, some kind of 3 wave move here, something like that. So I do think Robinhood has more upside, but it's due for a pullback in B and then higher in C. So where can it go? It could hit 1405 at some point in this area. So that would turn it into something like that. And then you may get to that, and then you may get lower. The other alternative, and I had shown this earlier, this alternative count is the bullish count where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You probably still hit around that $14 area. Yeah, see 14. And then you don't make a new low. but you come back to somewhere like 7, right around between the 2 and the 4, somewhere around 768. So I think I'm probably going to go with that pattern for the moment. But if you look, this is only in 3 waves, so this wave doesn't support that. That so I think I'll take that back. We'll stick with the WXY pattern because of this wave right there. I don't like how that looks. But you have to do what's best for you. But I do think that's the pattern, and I do believe a pullback is coming, and then higher. And then the other one is Zoom. It should again Zoom. I don't know how much it's influenced by the Russell. It's probably influenced a little bit. Let me find the stay-at-home stocks here. Zoom. There it is. Okay, so we were looking for this 5th wave. We actually got it. See how we broke that low? We missed our target area. We had 57.47. We hit $59. So this correction's done. So Zoom has entered a new cycle higher on a much higher degree, guys. Look at this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's to me, it's finished a massive downcline and decline, and I do think it should come back up to the wave 4 peak here at 124 for either new lows or a new cycle to new all-time highs. That will take some time. So we're looking for at something like this, and whether we get the 4 and the 5, we don't know. So it's in a new cycle higher. As long as we're above 58.97, it should continue. Dips should be supported. And where we are specifically looks like a series of 1-2s, 1-2s playing out. Yeah, I'm gonna call it 1-2, 1-2. You still have to be careful that you're not. It could still be a 5. Okay, if that's a 5, then this could come back down to 64. And that would be a great opportunity to go long if this happens. If this finishes here, and next week we get that sell-off, a real nasty sell-off, and this starts its correction, this could be a good dip buy. A good dip buy here. The alternative is the indices and everything full of traders. Everyone's looking for the pullback. It extends higher. The Fed caves. And then we're in 3 of 3, and it's ready to surge in a 3 of 3 breakout like that to next week. So I don't know. I can't. All I know is it looks like it's going parabolic. It's starting to squeeze. I don't know the short interest in this, but if I'm short, I would be covering those shorts ASAP. I would be looking to go long. In fact, like I said, we have been watching this for months, for almost over a year even, and it finally got to here. We didn't get quite where this would have been more elegant, like to hit that 50, but we didn't. It's too, it is what it is, and now in the new cycle higher. And of course, if it breaks 58.91, then we're still in wave 5 potentially, and now you have 1, 2, and then you'll have 3, 4, 5. Then we're talking $30, $20. You're talking a massive calamity for Zoom. If that happens, massive collapse. So that has to hold. This thing has to hold. So if you're a long-term investor, shareholder, you believe in the company, you need to see that defended. If not, technically, it's screwed. It's dead money if that breaks. IWM April puts. Okay, so you may get an opportunity to make some money on those puts next couple weeks, but you need to be careful on the Russell of a couple possibilities. Of course, I have it labeled this way, but there's a couple possibilities you need to think about if you're trading the Russell. Okay, the first thing is where are we in this cycle higher? Okay. So let's take a look here. As you can see, we have the first cycle 1. We're in this 3rd cycle, so this could be considered a 4 here, and so we're in the 5th wave of some kind. So this cycle is almost over from this low, just like the rest, again. So, and it could have even ended. Now we could still be in 4 potentially with a pullback and drop. So you could get this theta burn. This is like theta burn in puts here, but at some point this is going to resolve. I think. Well, I think in the next few weeks this is going to resolve. Maybe even next week. And when it does, you're going to get a pullback here, a pullback to correct this. In at least in 3 waves. Now the problem is, if the market is going to do this, right, extend potentially, then this putback may see one more high, and that will probably destroy puts when this happens like that. And this will probably respect this high at 199, and then you'll get the spectacular crash. Now, could this happen all through by April? I don't know. That's why it's timing. But you have to respect this possibility that I have here. And then it could even break this high and then move X here, the pivot out, which would be, to destroy the bulls and bears scenario. I don't like it because this is 5 down, but I can change the connector to make it work if I had to. So, but what I do know is this looks like it needs a correction. So perhaps your puts will gain some money here. But then after that, you'll have to do what's best for you. You'll have to decide, do I want to let it ride? Do I want to take some profit? Do I want to, take all my profit and let the circumstances change and get a better setup? You just don't know. So I don't know. I can't predict the future. Now, this 5th wave up makes me think, though, it's not a corrective structure. So if this is 5, it makes me think we still need a 3rd wave. We still need a 3rd wave like that. So that's what I'm thinking with the Russell right now. The only way to reverse it is if we got a squeeze higher to erase divergence. If somehow we got this like squeeze higher, we erase divergence, and then you can call it like a 3-wave move. Then you could say it turns into something like that next week. Then it could be done. But right now, as the data I'm looking at, this looks like an impulse up to me, and it should be finishing up at any moment. But on the shorter time frames, there is a chance it could still be in wave 4 and really fool a lot of people, which I wouldn't be surprised if it does that. Looking at this wave 2 in terms of symmetry, and it does something like it drops to 182, only to go higher back to like 188, 189, and then you get a bigger pullback later, only to rip higher again. I mean, that's going to really mess a lot of traders up. But do what's best for you. The 4 could be in here, and we could be finishing this 5 next week, and then maybe on the Fed news, it's lights out, back down to somewhere around like 180. So that's my take on the Russell. HBAR, is that crypto? Is that crypto? Haber. HB. Oh, it's a crypto. Okay, yeah, we can go to that. We'll look at HBAR. Let's do BitMEX. I mean, it shouldn't really be that much of a difference. I won't worry about these wicks there. Okay, so good thing is you broke that high, and you have a higher high. So you're in a sequence higher. So that's good for if you're holding this. This looks like 3 down, 3 up, 5 down. So that's, to me, well, let's take a look if the divergence is erased. It's close enough. Okay, so this is like in a, some kind of three-wave structure chart. So there's not enough data to show exactly what it's doing. So what I'm gonna go with is something like this, something like that, and then that looks like 5. Yeah. How long did this take? WX. Yeah, we'll do something like this. Okay, so this first 3-wave move is almost done. So like we should be getting a pullback soon, and then higher, and we should break this high eventually. So I would be looking for this W to be set soon, the higher degree, this wave A to end. It looks like you're still in C though. Still looks like there's more short-term upside opportunity in this at the moment. Um, yeah, so still more upside, but the pattern to me looks like it's in a 3, something like that. So we want to see a pullback and a higher high with divergence on the 4-hour time frame, and then that should be your clue that it should be running out of room, and then technically, where could it end? Like 82.6, somewhere in this area. The pullback in X is going to probably be really choppy. A lot of crazy swings. It could be a triangle. It could be, this is where everyone's going to, all the money everyone made will be lost in this X. So you're going to have to, if once this is in, you will have to you'll have to just be patient and just wait because I bet the whole crypto market will correct here. This will be Bitcoin correcting a higher degree time frame, like on the daily or weekly cycle, which it needs to do. It's overdue for that. So that's probably what this is. And then this is probably the having all that crap that everyone believes in, and that's probably what causes this Y wave. And honestly, this will should break this high, and just use your imagination how high it goes. Who knows? Um, but I think technically you need for this low to hold. So this is what you'll need diamond hands through this. A lot of traders will not have that, or they won't have the patience, and they won't benefit from whenever this happens in sometime in the future here. All right, let's take a look at that FNOX. Let's take a look at FNOX here. I believe this must be it. You're asking me. Space silver. I'm gonna assume this is it. Oh yeah, it hit our buy area. Looks like it hit our buy area. It respected that low, and now it's higher. So that's good. So it looks like somebody asked me, maybe it was you, to chart this. I gave this very bullish setup, and it held, and now it could be entering wave 3 of 3. So it's like, again, I don't know what this company does or anything, or why it's so bullish, but any pullback should be supported now. Essentially, the market has tested this level 3 times, well, 4 times really, this general level, and it's held. So now the market's going to mark it up. The market's got to mark it up. It's like it's not going. Whoever's trying to short it or sell it, this shit ain't breaking. I mean, this is holding, and it can't. So the market now anyone short since really January 21, they're going to be panicking and they're going to be blown up. Because this ain't going. I mean, look, if it hasn't broke this level by now, it ain't breaking. And this is a false breakdown on a long-term trend. So this must have trapped so many bears here. So I think this is one you just hold on tight. And again, diamond hands, and unless 40-35 breaks. So what do these guys do again? Um, yeah, I have no idea what the hell that means. But okay, well, whatever they're doing a good job. So good for them, and good luck if you're in it. That's good. If you're short, I would definitely not recommend that. I'll go into the next one. So only go through two symbols. I already covered natural gas with boils, so I'll skip over UNG, but and I'll go over TLT. So TLT is tied to the 20-year rate, right? Which is a little different than the 10-year, but the kind of idea is the same. The 10-year has a breakout and hit my breakout area, and now it's in this massive wedge, right? It's trying to break out of this massive wedge, and probably the Federal Reserve is going to help break this out next week and cause that sell-off I'm talking about. Now, the $1 million question is this too could be set. If it is, then then we're going to get a pretty nasty sell-off because we're going to start entering the powerful wave 3, which should take us to 7% 10-year next year. Now, the other possibility is it's just another connector. So you got to respect that it could be another connector, okay, and then it just goes down again, and then two just drags on. So I don't know, but we do this bounce, this counter trend rally. So TLT is going to sell off if it hasn't already started. So TLT should be turning down. But the problem, the danger of going against the trend, like, oh, I'm going to buy TLT as an investor, it's just too low. Well, you're buying away. You don't know when this 3 is going to hit. And so eventually the TLT is going to break its low that it set in October. It's going to break it. But there still could be more upside in a 3-swing move if you're lucky. So that's the pattern. The 20-year is in a similar situation, 3 down. It's in a buy area. The rates, so this should sell off. So the TLT should sell off. It should reverse this cycle here. And then after that, who knows? Who knows? So we can look at the TLT real quick and see how it's doing. So it's too big of a bounce to be a wave 2. So looking at this closer, so I had this in a Z wave. So Z wave's done. So this whole cycle's finished. So you would think the connector would be bigger. So if I look at this entire cycle in the TLT down, to me, I mean, and again, you'll have to do what's best for you. Yeah, see, this cycle broke. You see it broke. So this little bit here is correcting the entire decline. The entire decline. If this is the connector for this entire decline, then society's effed up. I mean, society, we're screwed. We're screwed. I mean, unless you have savings and you're going to be able to get the interest on it, because I mean, this will take the TLT down to $30 or $20. God knows where rates will be if that. So I mean, so that would be catastrophic, and that would definitely cause a massive financial crisis. So more than likely, we're going to get this pullback. Maybe it goes back to 87, 88, and then we'll get another high, maybe up to 114. So looking at that, maybe the right call on the interest rates is maybe it's too aggressive and too dire and too bearish to call the 2 in here. It's just too cataclysmic for society to make a call. It's not practical. So more than likely, I think this is the call that needs to be made here, and then another low later, something like that. But I do believe this low will be respected, whatever happens here. So that's what I'm looking at. Do what's best for you. But I'm not trading bonds until I get a clearer setup. This is just, but if you're a day trader, right? I mean, you got, and you just use chart patterns. This is just a wedge breakout. This is just a nice little wedge breakout. So maybe you could trade that, trade that little wedge breakout and scalp some money on a pullback that I think, on a day trade type situation. Looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like you may get another little pump and then a bigger pullback, and then you can come in. So there's a lot of, you try to, but I think if it's in this wedge though, It could still grind a little lower, but I do believe even if this were to come back down, it's going to come out. You're going to get this bigger. You see this. This is coming. This is coming, and when this comes, I believe the indices are going to go back down and correct the October cycle from October, and then this more than likely is that final pump in the indices that I'm talking about. And again, if this is set, then all hell's about to break loose in the stock market. Like we never like. I don't know what would cause this unless like the CPI comes in at like 10% and everyone's just like, panic, massive panic, like something really unthinkable happens. But I think looking at things, this is probably how rates are going to go down. And then TNA, I covered the IWM, so you can get to TNA from the IWM. All right, Crisp. I got a super chat, so I'm just going to jump to that. Mitso for $9.99. PayPal, SoFi, Neo. All right, PayPal. Yeah, how's that one doing? I don't really pay attention to PayPal. Probably because crypto's running, it's probably doing okay. Where do I have that in here? Yeah, let's take a look at what we got on PayPal. So still have it in this final decline lower. Could be still in 4 here. So why did I label it this way? Let's take a look at the stochastics and see what I was thinking here. Yeah, because this bounce corrected this entire cycle. Yeah, we won't be so bearish. I'll just say that this 4 wave is here, and we need one more low. I think one more low. That would be the right setup, and this is just some end in diagonal in 3 waves. It's just some kind of end in diagonal. So same thing. We should see something like that, hopefully. So it should make one more low, I'm thinking. Now, what would change my mind is you see this downtrend line. If it can break out of 65, close above 66, then it's set. It's done, and it's in a massive cycle higher to correct the entire decline from the beginning of July 21. And that should take us up to easy 104 or even higher, maybe even 50. So that'd be really positive, but I just don't see the swings there yet. I see one more swing down. SoFi, again, it's a slave to the Russell and somewhat the financial sector. So let's take a look at SoFi here. So here's our short area. We haven't got there yet, but we're getting there. So I'll still be looking for this box. It's just taken a weird elaborate path to get there. But you'll have to do what's best for you on that. I'm not going to try to label this connector. I just do think it's in danger of a reversal right around here. The other possibility is that it's already finished, but the Russell showing you where the Russell is, right? You could see maybe a pullback and another swing higher later, but I do think it's going to come up to maybe somewhere around $9, 9.8, somewhere in this area. And then when the Russell gets lights out, right? The lights out trade and the Russell starts, this is lights out too. That's my thinking. The other option here with SoFi is it's a bigger connector, but it's not. You see, it's not rallying like the rest of the market. I mean, it's off the low, but it's not like, we're not up in this area, so we're not seeing signs that it's going to turn into a bigger connector. So there's just not a lot of enthusiasm behind this particular stock right now. So just do what's best for you on that. But I think like the Russell, it's finishing an impulse off this bottom in a flat. Something like that. That's what I think is going to happen. and then you could call this like an let's see here, an A, B, C. And then lower. Okay, your next one, Neo. Neo, so the green, I call them green stocks. All the green stocks, TAN, solar, First Solar, ENFIT, all that shit, it can't go into a long-term cycle with oil going down. Now, oil's bouncing, so that stuff's gonna bounce. So oil's, I showed you oil earlier. Oil could have a bounce and even a significant bounce to 82. So that stuff's gonna get a relief rally. But until oil trades down in the 50s, I was showing, or lower, this stuff is dangerous to own, because when oil trades down there, all the green stock, I call them the green stocks, all gonna get sold off. They always do. And so let's look at Neo. How's it doing? Pretty choppy here. So right away when I see stuff like that, I think triangle or something. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, it's probably done this one here. Well, no. Well, this is tough. It's in two for sure. Uh, I think it's got expanded flat coming. Look at that hidden bearish divergence though. That's massive hidden bearish divergence on the 4 hour, guys. So it's setting up for a rug pull, which we all know. It's coming down here, but I don't, I look at this, I don't know, could it be that bearish? Let's take a look at yeah, let's just take a look at these cycles here. Yeah, I am going to move the one to down here. So we're in two. With oil, if oil does the move to 82, and the dollar weakens for some unknown reason, maybe you get that. You get this move, right? And then that will take it to 950. I'm sorry, they'll take it to 892 to $9, somewhere around there. So that's the move we've been. This is what we know. We see this since 2021. This is how the market's been trading. They love these flats and expanded flats. So I almost would guess this is what's going to happen. And then oil's going to pump to 82. China's going to have a relief rally across its market because it's pretty beat up. And you get this, something like that. Now, of course, the bearish case is 2 is done here in a running flat of some kind, or it just comes back up. Maybe just comes up and retests 853. This is too bearish. I don't think that's the case. So I mean, I look at it now. If we come back down and break $7, then more than likely this wave 3 is started, and then it's got lights out coming, a capitulation move. All right, that's it. That's Neo. All right, let's keep going. Crisp. I think there was some news out about this stock. I got sent this some news about Crisp, and something like that. So I think it must be pumping or something. Yeah, I think I have it in the AI basket. Get to that. Yeah, so there's your X, and now you're in your Y. Okay, so you're in the connector in Y. It looks like you have your 5s up and you're in your connector. So yeah, to me, it looks like you could have more downside, but I would be looking for one more high to finish the larger connector. So this to me looks like an A, some kind of B, and C. This looks like a flat that's in progress. I mean, it could be done, but This is dangerous, this flat here, because to me it looks like you've got a 1, 2, something like this coming, and then another high. For B. And then lower eventually in C. What would change my mind is if the structure on Y more, but yeah, I mean, it's obvious this is corrective. It's not a stock you probably want to just hold. Not yet. It doesn't show me the cycles. I mean, even if you look at it, I can even force an ABC and force this done here. I could force it finished. So, uh, you got to be really careful in this one, guys. This is a toss-up between what I'm showing here and it actually is finished and B's in. It's a toss-up. So I don't know, man. It almost hit the 4 high. It could be finished B right now. So I don't I this one's tough. This one's kind of a roll of the dice. Oh, I haven't heard about TMTX in a long time, man. TMTX, oh, those were the good old days. I don't even know if I have that. I wonder if I still, how's that showing up on everyone's radar? Are they doing something now? Let's take a look. All right, so we got the fifth wave, and now we got the pullback, and now it's done. So yeah, it looks like it's in the next cycle higher. I mean, it looks like we did pretty good on it. It just the B never got to the short area, so it was just too bearish. But now that this is done, you could clearly see the 3 waves are finished and a nice reaction higher. So this should be starting a new bullish cycle. But it looks like it's a wave 4 at the moment here. So this should be finishing 5 at any moment, like the rest of the market, and then a pullback. And who knows, the pullback could be devastating when it comes. But it's got to hold this low at 36, and I believe it will. What kind of news is going on with it? Are they even selling anything these days? Oh, wow, yeah, their sales are growing. Maybe their shit's taking off finally. Yeah, I mean, I traded this thing when it was like I guess they must have reverse split or something. But yeah, I mean, I traded this thing back in this time frame. I mean, way back when. But I haven't looked at it in a long time. Well, anyway, this looks good. So that looks finished, and it makes sense. Look, this is a nice, beautiful impulse, a 3-wave move. It's classic Elliott wave in action. It's a classic Elliott wave bullish cycle. So maybe this company's got its shit together here. Maybe this company's got some growth coming. So I want to keep this on my watch list. I want to understand that better. What's its market cap now? Couple billion. Yeah, it's probably still too high for what it's doing, but still, we'll see. Yeah, this could become like a left shoulder, a head, like kind of like a head and a right shoulder, and come out of this. We'll see what happens. All right, I got another super chat I'll go to, and we'll go from there. All right, let's see here. Anonymous for 5. CLSK BitF crypto. Okay. I thought we would have had CLSK on here. I guess we don't. Well, I know we've charted it before, so let me bring it back up. So let's see here. So the short played out, but then it failed, right? Well, if it didn't fail, if you would have took profit here, we did get that reaction lower, but it was supported. So it looks like to me there's 2 possibilities. It's either doing a double correction higher or it's starting a new bullish cycle. So the divergence will be key to know that. So let's take a look. No divergence at that peak. So to me, it's just a double correction higher. Um, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in it because I just don't believe in the chart right now. But you know, a lot of people would interpret this as a new bull cycle, but it's actually in a danger area. If it could pull back healthy and make another high and get that 5 waves with divergence, then I'd change my mind about it. So it's either this, and it just made a double correction higher, and then it's ready to go down again, or it's this, and then you get that, and then you can buy that. But you can see it's sideways to lower for probably the next 6 to 7 months. Like I said, a lot of the easy money in crypto is over. If you're gonna more than likely get this move across the crypto complex, it's kind of like either a force, a five, and a pullback, or you're just gonna get a pullback, and you could get back in on the rate. Like for crypto to moon, that 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 would be unexpected. And that happens. Sometimes that happens, right? And that's why there comes a point where you just gotta pull the trigger on things if you believe in it. And then bit F. So here we had this cycle. We had to buy the dip here. Now here you have 5, but more than likely there's no divergence here, none there. So again, it's just it never impulsed out. I mean, we did buy that here, so it's 3, it's 3, it's 3. So again, they're in these cryptos in these very impressive corrective bounces. They're just taking double corrections higher. Um, so that's 270. We're almost at the sell area where this could run out of gas. So again, it's either this or it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it pulls back. So like I said, it's tough to say, but this looks like 3, and then this looks like 3. So it looks like it's almost finished. Thanks for the 5. And then Meta, Wayfair, and XRP. Okay, Wayfair. Wayfair is a nice stock to trade. I like how it reacts. So we did have the buy area here, and I showed this on one of my videos, and we did come out of that, but now we're done in 3. So Wayfair is looking to either go into a whole new bullish cycle by breaking, it needs to either break 60.96 or it's going to take another 3 lower, which would probably end up breaking this low, which would be pretty dire. So, it's like this is a toss-up where it is now. Again, it could be it could be a lot of things here. It could be that, and then a pullback, right? Which wouldn't surprise me. I think this is probably the more likely path, something like that. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I would say for Wayfair, something like this. Now, the other alternative is it's already done 3, right? You've done 3 here, and now you'll do 3. You'll do another 3 down, and retest this low or break the low. So I don't know. Tough to say. Do what's best for you, but next week we'll define this. If you get this 5th wave, that's good because then this low will be good, a good low to trade against when this pullback comes. Of course, there's always the more bullish case where it's a 1-2, 1-2, but I don't think the market's going to accelerate like that. But you have to keep that in mind. That's why I would never short this wave 5 because it can morph into a 3 of 3, as we've seen many times. So but I'm thinking this, given where the market should go, this is what I'm probably thinking, and then a pullback. And then XRP. How's it doing? We haven't looked at XRP in a while. So you see how we only got 3 out of that? We never got that 5th wave, and we only got 3 here. So that's corrective. So it never morphed into a bullish structure. It morphed into a corrective structure. You know. So now this has a lot of possibilities. This is also corrective. So this could easily do this, like that, and then come back and do this, like that, right? Um, too many. This is too many possibilities for me to tell you, because also there's also this possibility, and it runs higher. Then there's also and again, I don't. Yeah, I'm not even going to give that. So I think that's it. So I think there's just those two. So I think you're in W's here, and you're in an X wave. So XRP is in an X wave. It can even become a triangle. You could do that, and then higher. So I don't know, man. So I think you're gonna have to try to do what's best for you on it. And this is a tough one to try to predict. But if you get caught in an X wave, that chop is where all you lose all your money on crypto. So you have to you either have to just be diamond hands and go, like they say, go fishing, go do something else for the net, until this breaks out, or you if you're short, you have to have that conviction, but I wouldn't be short. Looking at the structure right now, the only way I would look at shorts is if 38 cents breaks. If that breaks, then any rally, I would short that on any rally. But until that breaks, I would still, because you got to respect the Y wave. Uh, Still should happen. But do what's best for you on that. All right, I'm going to be wrapping up soon, so I'm just going to kind of scan through comments. Has MR? Yeah, I was looking at mRNA. I think mRNA is bottomed. Will I buy it? Hell no. Because why? I don't really believe in the company, but that's a personal belief, and I never like to buy things I don't believe in, unless I'm scalping it or something like that. But I'm not like, because what if to me, I get worried some kind of news drops like Bowen. I don't believe in Bowen either, with the Bowen Max, and again, these are my beliefs. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I could be totally paranoid and wrong. They could be great companies, but it's just not going to get my capital tied up in any of those companies. But I would say mRNA, technically the charts looks bottom to me. So if you are an investor, shareholder, or I guess it's even a driver of the XLV, right? It's such a big percent of the XL, so that's good for the sector, I guess. Um, yeah, I know. If the 2008 comes, it would have to be at a much. It would have to be, because it's a higher degree correction. It'll have to have a higher degree magnitude, right? But a similar impact, but at a bigger magnitude. So I don't know. Try to predict the news. Well, I don't know. Maybe China invades Taiwan and says, F it, I'm going in. Trump's going to be in office, and we better make our move now. So I mean, we don't know what's going to cause it. Like we don't. No one's a fortune teller. Like, I mean, COVID came out of nowhere, right? In like a few months, and boom, the world changed. So you don't know how news changes. Well, wars start. World War One started like quickly on, just on that just someone get this guy getting assassinated out of nowhere, and then one thing led to another. So you just don't know how the news unravels so quickly. So whatever is going to cause it is unthinkable to traders. It's almost like silly talk to even mention whatever the news is. And right now, if somebody's out there preaching like they know it, they're probably considered crazy. They need a psychologist, their mental health case, so there probably is one or two people that are predicting and know exactly what's going to happen to cause that sell off, but nobody's listening. And just like they did in '08, they called the people that were predicting MBS collapse, and that news and that shit about that news was out there in 2006 and 5, guys. I mean, there were guys out there predicting that shit was going to collapse in 2005, and of course they were laughed at, and like, but they're eventually right. So I don't know. I mean, somebody out there probably knows what's going to happen, but they're just too early. But eventually something's going to happen that's going to trigger this event, and then believe me, no one on this call will want to own stock. There will be a mass panic for the exits, but the exit will be very small, and no one will be able to get out unless you take a lot bigger hit. And I do believe when it starts, we'll see couple thousand point, over 1,000 point sell-off day. You'll have at least that type of that's how I think it'll get going. That's not how it's going to trade in the middle. I think in the middle we'll be having circuit breakers and shit like that, like we haven't seen before. But I think when it starts, yeah, we'll see like, oh man, the Dow was down like 1,500 points today. What the hell happened? Oh, it's just a healthy sell-off. Well, we were up 5,000 since October. Great, great. Whatever it is, and that's how people. But that's what I'm looking for. That's when you'll know. That's time to maybe not be um, buying the dips and shit like that. But right now, I still think it's a buy the dip market for the time being until that real fear hits. Um, and, um, and when it does, we'll all know. We'll all know because everyone will be selling, and there'll be people screaming on TV. They'll be fighting with each other. We'll all know. No one want to be in the market, and the thing will just collapse on itself because there won't be a bid underneath the market, and there won't be TARP this time, and there won't be any of that crap. It's just gonna fall apart, and then somebody will cave. More than likely, the Fed and QE will start. Interest rates will go to zero, and life will be good again, and then a whole new grand super cycle will be born for another generation, wherever that level may be. But that's what's going to have to happen. Okay, so GDXJ. So gold is still got a pullback coming, but it's long for long term. By breaking the high, it's now given a sequence higher. No matter what happens here, whatever this is, if this is a flat, screw it. I'm just gonna keep adding more because this is now in a new, by breaking the high, the all-time high like it did, it can't hide its intentions. Now, if it's a flat, hey, that's just going to give me a great entry. And I'm accumulating investment positions. Now, it could still extend in 5. It's just too many options. So, but I think on the shorter time frame, if I look at gold, the first real good dip buy area is coming at 1903. This looks like a connector for this move down. So GDX will probably be under pressure until gold hits 1903, and then who knows? Then who knows? Who knows? Who knows after that? If we get that flat, if we get a flat, then it just moves the target up. But I'm not a buyer of gold or anything gold until we're down in these areas. This would be very unusual to have it end like this. But the GDXJ to me is pulling back in 3 as well. So if I looked last time I looked at it, it was the dip area is 3580, and you can see the third wave. So it's probably coming down to here and should react here, and then the market will decide. Now, if you look here, it's either a 1-2-1-2, which is super bullish, which is more than likely that's what I think we're in, something like that. I don't think it. I think this is too intense. I don't think this is a 4, but you have to respect that, which we still get 5. And if it's corrective, then gold is going to be in the flat scenario, and then that would take it down to new low. Like this would be devastating. If this is the case, that means gold, the gold is in this flat. Gold is in, not gold won't do this reaction. Gold is going to go and do the destroy the trader. It's going to come all the way back down to these areas down here, which should be a market crash. I mean, guys, let's face it, this would be a market crash if this happens. So that's why that's gold. But eventually, even if it's this, and right, eventually the back end will come. So because of the sequence higher now. So I don't really care. So this is just smart money trying to steal money from traders, and maybe they'll do the rug pull, and we'll get this opportunity and see. So just look at it as a once in a lifetime opportunity if that C comes and you get this in the precious metal market, a rug pull like that. But if this happens, more than likely the indices have crashed, and so there'll be opportunity across the market. But I think for the most part, the best idea is this 5 extends higher like that, or it's a 1-2-1-2 and it goes parabolic. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think this is where it's going short term. And I showed the GDX. All right, so I'll do my last question here, and I got to go. Alex for 3, BT. Oh, we haven't looked at that in a while. Let's take a look at where that is. So we did pull back in Y, but if you look here, that looks like 5 waves down from the low. That looks like 5 up. So it's a very interesting structure. Let's take a look. Yeah, what a odd looking chart. We called the buy here, by the way, guys. Back on March, if you followed my videos, right there. So it's definitely, that's good news. This isn't good news here. So I gotta go with what the chart's saying, you know. Something like that. So where is B gonna end? Don't know. It's in a flat. It's tough to say how high it can go. It can keep extending double bottomed here. I'll put it there. Let me see if that's the right place to put it. No, we'll want to put it here. Okay, so it's in a flat. One, two. Something like that. See that divergence? So we're in wave 5. So this should be coming to an end pretty soon. How soon? Can't tell you. This 5 doesn't look finished though. So you got to be careful. But that's what it looks like to me. BT, something like that. And then C. All right, the next one is First Solar. So like I said, First Solar, if oil goes to 82, First Solar is going to pump more. If oil just makes a marginal new high, then First Solar shouldn't really bounce that much. But I think First Solar's due or is in a relief rally. I haven't looked at it in a while too closely here. Let's take a look. So we called the flat here. We had a 1-2. We've called First Solar right pretty much exactly. And so now the 4. I have the 4 set here. So looking at this chart, you know, it does have some news dropping soon. So I look at this. I would be worried that it does push lower in this 5th wave. So I'm looking for this 5th wave now. If oil, like I said, oil pumps, maybe First Solar can come back to 160. You know, if it breaks 168, this would be too big to be 4. The structure will morph, but that would open up more upside, and it would blow this structure up that I have here. So. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, you can't even tell the divergence. So there's no divergence really here. I would say with First Solar, You want to also see this weekly cycle on break, and it hasn't. You see it got rejected right there. So to me, it looks like it's in its wave 5. It's into a 5, and then it should continue lower. And this is the potential buy area, 121, 107 for long-term investors. But I'll say, the other thing you need to be aware of is this could be a 1-2, 1-2, and then it could be lights out, and we could go all the way back down to the $70, $60 area. So you have to really watch this and have a stop loss if you're going to try to long it here. The other thing with First Solar is it trades with TAN, and TAN we still need to get to $22. So TAN doesn't look as bullish. It looks and we've pretty much, again, I think I was the only one calling these corrections in solar stocks when we were up here. So here we are. So but we're getting close. So what does this mean? What this is telling me is oil should still be under pressure. Energy is under pressure. Deflation, but at some point it's going to get a bid, and then as these things build up into mid to late 24, we're about to get another energy and inflation burst, and perhaps that's what causes our crisis, right? Maybe oil goes to new highs and stuff after it hits 50. Maybe it runs. So I don't know, but this is what I'm looking at for right now. And then PSNL. Let's see what that is. Personalis. I think that's a new one. Have we done that one before? All right, yeah, so we had the 5th wave. So here's our 4 wave, and now we're in our 5th wave. Looks like there's still more 5s to go here, right? More 3s and 4s to play out. Let's take a look. So this one's done. All right, so you're in a 4. It should be higher degree, right? A higher degree. Where is it? What's it matched with? Well, this one didn't really. See how this 2 didn't really. So this won't be a substantial bounce. More than likely, it could even be over. So it's still got grinding lower to go. It's got one more. If I have what I have here is right, we still have another 5, another bounce, and another 5 before massive pump. But I could be off by a swing. So that's the thing. If you're off by a swing, which is easy to do with Elliott waves, then you could miss it. So I can't, that's why trading these kind of, these stocks is kind of, these, I call them penny stocks, but these lower, higher, these stocks in declines like this. So maybe keep an eye on this channel. And when you see the channel break, perhaps you could be entering a bigger relief rally. And like I said, I only have one more swing, so perhaps I'm one swing off, so I don't know how aggressive you want to be trading this, but you have to do what's best for you on that. Thanks for the 3. Okay, guys, so that's all I've got today. If you didn't get your question answered, so just super chat next time, and good luck trading. I do believe it's going to be really choppy, and I do think we're due for a pullback, and then we'll see if the market can make another push higher before we get